Hello everyone, welcome once again to Inspirational Explorer Bootcamp 1.0, our day 3 of graphic design class. Today we'll be exploring this design, how to create this design. This first one, just as we all voted that we should go for both design and this other one. So I'll be doing this interesting design with us and I want us to flow together. I'll be doing much detailed explanation as I did in the previous class because I want to assume by now you've done quite a lot of practice to know how things are being done in Canva, and we already know how to use these tools, how to engage them in making design. So I won't be going deeply to say this is how to do this is how to do that. I assume you've passed the grade 1 level. So now to the next level, we'll just explore this script. First of all, before showing us how to design this, I just want to show us an example of a design brief, just as I show us the other time, but this time around, more detailed design brief. However, the previous class, I pasted a link for the resources. I noticed that some of us were struggling to get some assets that were of premium, some elements that are premium based. We could not access them. In order to access them, I created a link in the previous tutorial video that was uploaded. Peradventure you are finding it difficult to access, let me just show you how to get that. So right here under the class, either on mobile view or on the system, just click on more. The moment you click on more under the description, you should see a link that shows the drive. Once you click on it, it should show you all the resources that were used in the previous tutorial video. You can just go ahead, click on the three dot icon and just download it, do whatever you like with it. Through that, you should be able to access all these resources. Same thing with this tutorial video. All the resources that will be used in this tutorial video can be accessed through the drive. Just check the description below, just as I showed you now, and access it through the drive. You can download all these resources. If you are finding it difficult to download any of these, or peradventure you are finding it difficult to create any of these concepts, I will create a simple template for us so we can just bring and drag them in and maximize them. Without any further ado, let's get started. First with the design brief. There was a design we're supposed to work on, as I make reference to in the first tutorial video that we created, but I cancelled that because I have to generate a design brief with the AI. And when I did that, I saw that we need to use a different color perspective. So therefore, I have to cancel that design and work on a different design entirely. Right here, this is what we want to design. Here is what a design brief look like. It might not be as detailed as this, but with this, you should get the idea of what a design brief looks like. Peradventure, you reach out to a client and they said, I need something like this, probably on Fiverr or Upwork or all those freelancer sites like that. You get your design brief from there. Template of a design brief. Design brief. What does a design brief entails? A design brief is telling us what the requirement of our client is, what they want, what they need, what they want to get, what they expect you to do for them. You get. This is the project overview. You can see we are looking to design a promotional banner that highlights a special discount on locally made spicy. The current design features a bold, straightforward message, but we want to enhance it visually appealing. Sorry, that was visual appeal, making it more engaging and appetizing to the target audience. This already gives us an overview of what this person wants. The objective, you are to create this, and this is the emphasis. And it says the design should be clean, modern, and aligned with current branding guidelines. Key message, delicious food menu, taste with a difference, 50% discount, order now. So these are the key menu. Did I just say key menu? Sorry, key message. Right, we are working on the menu. Target audience, food lovers who enjoy locally made and spicy dishes, customer looking for affordable meal, potential new customers attracted by discount and special offer. You get, this is the tactic. This is how to penetrate the market penetration. These are design requirements. The banner should be eye-catching and easy to read. Use color that evoke, blah, blah, blah. And we have the call to action. So the dimension, we'll get to this later, for print and for screen, right? But I won't be using this dimension for digital. I'll be using just 1080 by 1080 pixel. That's for Instagram post, just perfect square. That's what I'll be using in this design. And you see the formats that you have to deliver this file, either this or this, and PDF. and you are to submit editable source file, then you wonder, how do I submit editable source file with Canva? Yes, there's a way to go about that, but not in this tutorial video. Look forward to that tutorial video where I'll be showing us how to convert your Canva file to either AI or Photoshop. We'll get back to that later. Timeline, your first draft, let the person know that, okay, the first draft for review will be ready by this time or by this day. Then the final delivery will be ready by this day. Then you work on budget. I'm not here to teach you how to work on budget. We'll get back to that some other time, right? Additional note, yes, I omitted something. It says that use color that evoke appetite. Somewhere here, such as warm tone, red, orange, and yellow. This is the reason why I changed the concept of my design from the other one that has shade of blues and all of that. So this new one we'll be working on. So I just have to summarize this whole thing, this whole grammar to this, that this is all the person needs. We need delicious food menu, taste with a difference, 50% discount. But I'll be using 50% off in our design. It's still the same thing as discount. Then order now. This one will get back to this X code. Back to our design. The first thing you do when you have a design brief is you go for inspiration. Yes, please never forget that. You go for inspiration. You need to gather inspiration around your design. What does this design looks like? You imagine the outcome of your design even before designing it. You have the concept, the idea. How do I want this design to look? What feel do I want to give it? What pattern do I want to place for this design? And one of the interesting places to get inspiration is not that place than Pinterest. We have other places where you can get inspiration, such as Behance and other places like that. But then let's focus on Pinterest. So here are some design inspiration. Remember the color red, orange, yellow. So we just gather inspiration from here. Not necessarily, you don't have to design exactly what was being done here. The best way to search for what you are looking for is you can just come here and say creative food menu design. It will generate different food menu design for you. You just have to work with the one that suits you, right? And there's this other one here. You can search as many as you like. Just keep exploring until you find your own satisfaction. This design, I actually got it from one of the design that was on Pinterest. I just have to do a redesign of it in my own way. It's not different from what the person actually did, but I just have to do a redesign. If I delete this background, you will see that this is close to what the person did. I mean that texture, not necessarily the background. You can see that this is also not bad, while this is also not bad. The one that has texture, the one without texture, just with a white background, I mean. After gathering inspiration, then you can now work on your own design. However, I want to challenge you that after this tutorial class, once you are done creating or recreating the design that I work on, I want you to just please go ahead to start your own design as well. Look for inspiration from any of this design. You can just redesign any of this flyer design that we already have here. Make a wonderful taste. Give us something nice. Give us something awesome, and let's work with it. Then if you are designing something different entirely for this, you can also search for social media flyer design. Then it's going to give you this great concept. You can recreate any of this concept, any of this idea. I love something like this. I want someone to take up the challenge to give us something like this design right here. Yes. Then you keep seeing different kind of design. Before I proceed, I would like to tell us something as well. Your design layout, let it have a pattern. Don't just arrange your design anyhow without it following a pattern. Design layout is always having some kind of concept. If it's going to be a left aligned design, it has its own pattern. It's like this, like you have a line that's cut across like this, it's arranged this way, or it's arranged this way. Let me see if I can find any of it here. Or you have it this way, some kind of diagonal, like coming this way, then this way out, this way, then this way out. So your design should have the kind of layout that it's following. You can see that he gave us this pattern this way, then it went ahead to follow some kind of line this way. You get? So your design should not just have different pattern. Most importantly, when you are creating a center aligned design, most of the time, center aligned design tend to follow a kind of diagonal pattern such that one comes this way, the other one comes this way. This is an example of what I was saying. You can see this right here, just this way, then this way. Center line design, they stay in a diagonal pattern. You don't just have it scattered all around. You don't create center line design here, create left align design here. You can see that this one is centered aligned, this one is centered aligned, this one is centered aligned. Then this one, call to action, does not necessarily have to be center aligned. That's the idea behind design. Don't just make your design scattered, like without pattern. If you notice our design, let me come back to the template here. The one that is center aligned, you can see that it follows this pattern. Everything stays, it comes from here down to this way, from here down to this way. Then this circle forms its own pattern. Then we go again from here down here. Then we created a balance here. That's why I say your call to action does not necessarily have to be centered aligned. Another thing you need to take note of is your color. The color button that you use for your call to action, there's something we call primary color in design and secondary color. The primary color is the predominant color. Right here, we can tell that red is the primary color. How do I know red is primary color? Look at this red color right here. This is what I use for my call to action. It's what I use for my 50% off. And it's majorly, largely part of the background you get. Why this one is the secondary color. Black and white are just neutral color. Neutral color. But some brands might want to use black as their own color or white as their color. But generally, black and white are just neutral color. They are constant. If you look at this as well, our primary color is still the red. The secondary color is this. And you can see that most of our assets in this design has the primary color. This, it has the color here. It has the color for the call to action here. It also has this as the color here. So that's the pattern in design. Make it uniform. The unity have to be there. The consistency has to be there. You can see that this same color, this shade of color is still what I use here. There's something we call shades, something that complements it, something that follows the same pattern in design. Once you have all this in place, you should be able to work well. We'll get back more on color when we want to work on color theory and typography. When we are doing typography concept as well, we'll talk more about that. I've taken almost 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes in explaining this. So without any further ado, let's get started. But please, everything that I've said, take note of them. They are very essential. They are prerequisites to making a good design. The first thing first, you need to know is anatomy of design. Yes, you need to be able to analyze your design, to know what comes first, what goes next, what is next, what is next. You can start with this or start with this, whichever process you feel will work for you. It's up to you. I will start by creating this, a black background, which is the Instagram size. The first step in this design is to bring in a rounded square. I can decide to bring in a rounded square or just a normal square, whichever one I prefer, but let's work with a rounded square. If we work with this square, it will give us the same result. I want to change this rounded corner to 72. You can drag it or manually input your value to 72. Once we have that, I'm going to adjust this from the top side to this point as well. Then I will adjust this as well. Once I'm satisfied, I can leave it. You can see the way I manually drag everything to fit. Let's see whether we have that shape. Yes, we have just that shape right there. You can still expand it a little if you feel it's small. I'm going to change the color to black. Just right there. The moment this is perfectly fit to its proportion, I may want to adjust it up a little because of the call to action that will be at this side. Once I have this set, I'm going to zoom in. You can always expand your canvas so that you can have a good view of what you are doing. The next thing I will do is I'll duplicate this layer. The moment I duplicate it, once it's adjusted down here, I'm going to adjust it. You might just want to change the color, although I'll still change it back, but just change the color to white so you will see what you are doing exactly. I'm going to expand it to this point. I'm going to drag only this edge. I'm going to leave this one the way it is. Then I'm going to select no fill. I'm going to select no color, just to take away the color. Now, we want to create just this stroke that we see around this place here, right? I love the new layout of Canva. If you follow Canva so closely, you will notice that something changed between our last design and this current design. A whole lot of things has really changed. The layout, the way their things is being arranged now. You can experiment with them, try them out to see exactly what was changed. I'm going to click on border style, search for it on your mobile device, border style. The moment I click on border style, I'm going to select this. Then I'm going to reduce this down to just 2. We have it right there. I'm going to change the color. The reason why you can't see it is because it's currently black. I'm going to change the color to black. Yeah, to white. Sorry, I mean white. You might want to adjust the rounded rectangle if you want to, but I don't need to change the corner. I'm okay with this corner rounding that we have right here. Let's see what we have so far. So that's the first step, all set. The next thing now is I'm going to duplicate the background. I mean this black background. Once I have it duplicated, I'm going to bring it right here. Let's say somewhere here. I'm going to reduce the size. I'll reduce the size just to have something like this that we have here. Let's see if it fits in perfectly. I might just adjust it up a little, right? And bring it a bit closer. The moment I have that set, I'm going to change the color. Now, I want you to follow this X code, how to change color with X. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to copy this X color, this gray color, Control C. Once you copy it, to change this color, I'm going to select this color. You know, it asks text color, but we are not changing the text color. Don't mistakenly choose the text color. We only want to change the shape color because now you can edit text in this and have text in it, but we are not changing the text color. All we want to change is the shape color. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on add new color, this color palette option. I'm going to click on it. Then I will paste our X code there, or I just type it in manually, F1, F1, F1 3 times. Then we have the color there. The moment I have that set, you can see that I'm partway done. The next thing now is to bring in this bullet point and this stroke shape for our line. I'm going to search for circle. You know how to search for circle shape. I have them readily available in shape. So I'm going to bring in the circle shape by clicking on it or just hold and drag it. The moment I have the circle shape, I'm going to reduce it to the very small size. Very small size. You can always zoom in so that you can have manual control of it. The moment I drag it to a very small size, I'm going to have it positioned to the very first place I need it. Just before I go ahead of myself, I was supposed to create this text box here. How do I do that? I have two options. I can quickly duplicate this and just resize it to be a very smaller version of this so that it can fit in right. I'm going to turn off the fill of this color. I will turn off the fill and just give it a stroke fill. Then I will select border style to give it stroke fill. I will give it this one, just the thick line, not the broken one. And it will just be 2 as well. The moment I set it to 2, I need to change the color fill that is right there. The color fill will be, let's look at our X code color. I'm going to make this available in the description below so you can copy it and just paste it. D9, D9, D9. I'm going to click on this. Then I will change the color to what? D9, D9, D9. I will just paste it. Then I will deselect. You can see just right there. You can just adjust it to scale up a little. Once I have just one selected and readily to be used, I'm just going to duplicate this, then position it a bit away from it. Let's say just this distance should be fine. I want to be so careful such that once I start duplicating, it will fit this whole panel here. What I did was I adjusted this to fit, to be a bit bigger than this, because this is the main headline. It's more like the subheading, the tag, focus, while these ones are just the offers, that the services they offer. The moment I have this sized down a little, I'm going to duplicate it again. Before I duplicate it, let me add the stroke so that I can manually duplicate it for the whole phrase of it. You will see what I'm talking about when I get there. Then you say, okay, I get the idea now. Before that, let's change this color to our circle color, which is 7084. I'll be speeding lots of processes because I already assumed that we know how to do them already. So I might not necessarily show us all the whole process for this tutorial. Just follow through as I walk through with it. The next element is the line. Just bring it in, drag it down here, adjust the size. It's going to automatically snap in the moment you start dragging it. Then change the color to black. Sorry, we have an X code for this actually. Paste the X code. To arrange this, you need to send this to the back so that this one will be forward while this one will be backward, or you just bring this one forward. You can see that this one is very far from this. So let's bring it a bit closer more by holding this and adjust it in a little. With this ready, we are ready to duplicate our layer. Well, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to select multiple of this, then this, then this. Be careful not to select this. If you accidentally select this, just deselect it. The moment we have this, you can just group it so that you can easily adjust it. The moment you have it grouped, then duplicate it. Once you have it duplicated, set it to the position. Let it just be 19 distance between everything. Then duplicate this more and more. The moment you duplicate it, it will automatically arrange it well. This is the third one. Then the seventh one. You can see how it's arranged that for us to fit perfectly. We don't have to struggle around it. Let's bring in our ruler to see whether this aligns well. You can see that everything aligns just perfectly. Just before we add our text, let's bring in the next thing, which is this frames. Let's search for rounded rectangle frames. You can scroll to search for it or just type it right there, then it's going to give you what you need. I'll bring in this rounded rectangle, then I will adjust this the moment it's being brought in. You want to adjust it in such a way that it's not touching the edge and it's not too big, so that when you duplicate, it fits in for more. I think the center should be fine. We don't need the rounded corner for this, just maintain the rounded corner that came with it. Then let's duplicate this. You can just adjust both, select multiple and adjust both to center align. Make sure there is space in between this and this. Then let's duplicate this again. Once you have this fit, just leave it there. Let's bring in circle. We'll reduce the size of the circle. Then let's position it around there. We can reduce it more because we have stroke to it. Then now let's select border. Let's add black stroke. You can increase the size as you want, the border width. Then you can adjust it up more so it can have a good view. Once you are satisfied, you can deselect it. You see that we have a good result already for this design. The next thing, let's create this rounded rectangle here. Once we search for rounded rectangle frame, we bring it in, we adjust it, click on position, then have it centered. Yes. Lest I forget, for all your shape as well, make sure they are centered. You can ungroup them to properly center them. I will advise you that before you start grouping all of these and duplicating them, please first center this so you don't have this error that I'm having and I have to start stretching this to fit to the origin again. Once you are sure that it is aligned, the other shape I brought in didn't fit in properly. So let me just use a normal square to get what I want. I'll give it a corner rounding of just 16. Once we have that, I'm going to come to under element. I will search for red gradients background. So once I have the red gradients background, I will select the one that pleases me. Then I will place it inside this frame. Then release it. We have it just right there. Perfect. You can see that we have made significant progress on this. We have made significant progress with this. I can just expand this height a bit more so it fits well. Let me zoom out a little. You can see our view, right? I can drag all this just to fit well on the frame. With this done, the next thing I have to bring in now is pepper, right? Let's search for pepper, red pepper, or just search pepper. It's going to bring what you need exactly under element pepper. You can see we have all forms of pepper that we need. You can choose to use pepper from photos, and you can as well choose to use pepper from elements, depending on your preference. Once I have this in here, I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to speed up the entire process of this. Just follow through. I believe you already know how to do this, so I'm not going to be explaining. I'll just add a motion blur of about 80% to this. Same thing with this process. I'm going to duplicate this or just search for another pepper from probably graphics this time around. I might just bring in this pepper and just blur it out. I can duplicate this once more and just flip it to the other side, then take it down here. I'll search for leaves. I'll bring in this exact leaf. I just adjust the size and change the direction that it's facing. I will add motion blur of about 50 to this as well. Duplicate this, then follow through the process. Once we have that all set, let's bring in all these images that we see right here. I have to search for them on Pinterest and I have to search for some on Google. I couldn't get them, but then it's not advisable to just go to Google to download some images because there might be rights on them, right? So you can go to Shutterstock and download them on premium file. I'm going to just upload this image to a drive. You can access it through the link in the description below. Just bring them in, upload them. Once you have it uploaded, remember the way we upload files, right? Just bring them in here. Since I have them uploaded already, I'm just going to go under upload. Then I'll bring in these images as required. I'm going to place this here. The moment you drag it to the circle, it's going to automatically clip inside. However, I would like to adjust it so that there will be a bit of contrast between this black and this other. Because, okay, let me show you what I'm saying. The moment I bring you this image here and I scale this up, let me click on edit. Once you click on edit, just click on crop. It will give you the permission to scale this up. I'm going to scale it up here and also scale it up here till it fits the frame perfectly such that we are no longer seeing the plate. Click done. Once you select done, it's going to automatically fit into the frame. You see that? Let me also bring another image in, the one that was standing at this right corner. That's the pomo and snail. Let's scale that one to up. Let's bring the chicken and egusi. You can always click here to crop. The reason why I went through the process of showing us how to crop is because of those that are using the mobile device. Let me just click here to crop. Sorry, I interchange the options. Let me just swap that instantly. Yes, you can always drag this back in to fit. Then the amala should be here, right? Let's crop that now. Then we have the rice and beans. So that is beans. What's the name? Plantain, right? You'll notice that I didn't scale this beans and plantain up, and this one I didn't necessarily scale it up. That's because I want to maintain a bit of contrast. I don't want everywhere to just be black such that we can't see anything. Remember the contrast, right? It shows that there is a bit of difference between this and this. Okay, take for instance, let me just scale this up. See how everywhere will look just black and you can't even fine tune what's going on here. Let me also scale this up. Everywhere is just black with image, but with this, it creates a bit of blend and you see that it's unique. That's why I left that one just the way we did it in this previous concept. Okay, we have that ready. How we are good to go, right? Our design is coming to life. You see, once you have good image and good font for your design, you are all set. Now I'm going to bring in our fonts for this design. Canva has updated it such that you can just double click on this and type in what you want to type. Let's see, we offer, right? I'm going to highlight this font and change it to Montserrat. I'm going to make it bold. Then I will slightly increase the size. I think I'm good with the size. Let me just make it 18. Right now, I'm going to just automatically fill in all the text that should be in this box. I'm going to highlight all the box and I will automatically reduce the size just to 16 for the text. Then I will make it bold. I will change my font to Montserrat. You see that there is a big difference between this text and this text. That's because this one is the main focus, the core, the emphasis we offer, what we offer. I have to put semicolon here, a colon. So this is what we offer, right? And these are our services. Mind you, while creating the list of offer, make sure it's synchronized, it correlates with your picture. Don't put something that you don't offer, the thing that the person does not sell. Now, you'll notice that this picture among all looks a bit dull, unlike this that looks a bit lively. That's because this was adjusted. If you look at, let's look at what I did to this. The intensity, I selected fresco as the filter, right? Then when I wanted to adjust the color, temperature 15, I gave it tint of -40, brightness of 12. I also gave it vibrance 7, saturation 3. You can see that with this, it changed the color tone of the jollof rice. Oh, sorry, I mean the fried rice. That's not jollof rice. So just take a look at this and just apply it to the design. Now you see that the overall color was boosted. Same thing with the amala and ewedu. I adjusted the color texture as well. Let's take a look at what I did there. Edit. Let's see. I applied fresco as well. I just like that texture for this food color. Yours might be different. Then I didn't work on the temperature or tint, although I can take the tint lower to make it look more alive, or even more lower to make it more alive, but I don't need that. So what I did was the contrast. I gave it a contrast of 30, vibrance of 16. You can see that everything is looking just right now. Everything is looking just right and perfect. The next thing to do now is to add the background you saw behind here. Just this, the way it is, and this other one. What I did was I brought in Pepe. I can just grab this graphic Pepe, duplicate it, then bring it right here. Just make sure it's not going into your frame so that it doesn't replace the picture. Then flip it horizontally, right? Then adjust it to be very big. Make sure it's not going into your frame. Let's send this backward. Layer, under position, remember, right? Layer, then send to the back. You want to send it to the back, you can then drag it in. You can Ctrl Z. Make sure it does not fit into your frame. You can adjust this side. Once you are satisfied, you can just leave it. You can reduce the blur so it doesn't look too sharp at the edge corner here. I'm going to reduce it to about 60. You'll find this particular paper under photos. Just add blur to it. Mine was about 64. Then just have it rotated this way. The moment you have it rotated and sized this way, right click on it. Then, or if you're on your mobile device, position, send backward. Sorry, that should be sent to the back. Before adding the call to action, let's bring in our logo. How did I how did I create this logo? I just search for chef cap, right? Then I brought in this particular cap first. However, you can search for chef cap, bring in the cap, and also search for bow tie. But then I don't want to take my time searching for chef cap and bow tie. That's why I brought in this first. Then I search for chef cap. This one is under premium. If you have access to premium, you'll be able to download it. But then don't forget, you can always get it in the description below. Vector chef cap icon. Then I brought in this as well. I just scale it down to fit proportionately with the bow tie. I think I centered. Remember your position, make both center. With this justly done, so the next thing I did was I created this font. You know how to create font, right? Hard fonts, I mean. So I searched for this font under display. Another thing about design is that you need to use fonts, right? Fonts that look nice and sharp. So under display, I search for this font, Clemmer display. I set it to 31.9. Then I change the color to orange. I picked the color inspiration from this icon here. This was where I selected the color from the eyedropper to the color picker. That was how I was able to select my color. I'm going to speed up this process. Just create the font and get this font right there. Then under script, I added this font. It's now so that we have different font family, right? We have the serif, sans serif, we have the sans serif font, we have the script, then we have the display font. I used maximum of 3 fonts. I didn't use 4, 5, 6. You'll see that even right here is Team Montserrat. Montserrat. I didn't use more than those number of fonts. So please keep to your font when you are designing. Don't use too many fonts on designs. I'm going to bring this closer. I think 19 is just fine. We're almost done with our first design, right? I noticed an error with this line and I just need to correct that. Please always make sure it is on a straight line. Now the final thing to add is the call to action. We'll search for our dialer, the call icon, right? Call icon. I'm just going to see all under the graphic, right? Then I'll be making use of this. I'm going to hold and drag, resize it, change the color to white. I'm going to duplicate one of these texts just to make the process very fast. Bring it down here and just type in our phone number. Maintain a good distance between them. Sorry, it's selected the box with it. How to want to be wise. Let me just bring in text, right? The subheading. Let me just drag it down here. Change the size to 14. The font option to Montserrat. Bold. Yes. Color white. Text color should be white. And just make a quick edit. Yes, you might be wondering who is Mama B Kitchen. That's my mom. In case you need a service, that's her phone number right there. Contact her. Our WhatsApp contact is the one I'll be adding next. And if you want to reach out to her through our email, yes, you can reach out to her. We are always at your service. Bring in WhatsApp icon, change the color, bring in the email icon, change the color, and just work with that. You can always check the description below for the file to this asset. Once you are done with this and you are satisfied, I think we are now at the final state of our design, which is now complete. You can see the texture of the design. The pattern is from this angle to this angle. If you ask me to draw, uh, to know whether this is symmetric or asymmetric, I'll tell you that it is a bit of symmetric, it's a bit of asymmetric pattern. If you look at it from this shape like this, it's forming some kind of, let's say, it forms a kind of square shape. Even if I extend it down here, if I extend it down here, you can still see that uniqueness of the square shape that we have right there. So this is the end of the first aspect of the design. You could not lay your hands on it well, you couldn't figure out how to go about something, just let me know in the comment section or in the class, then I will work on it. However, you can still adjust this line to fit perfectly. It was because of the arrangement that was done. Just a quick recap of what we did in this tutorial. First of all, we work with our Canva, then we brought in this shape, the background, then we duplicated this to have this stroke. We deleted, we gave it no fill color. We added some kind of rounded rectangle while we are doing the background one, which is the black. Then we created this as well. We duplicated this black shape. Then we make it of this shape. We maintain the corner radius that we added to it. Then we duplicated it and resized it down here. We also duplicated this and give it a bit of size. Then we added some kind of color to it. We also added a stroke line. Then we added the circle line as well. After that, we duplicated this step. I will advise that you first arrange your shape to center align first before duplicating it. The moment you create this, make sure it is centered aligned. The moment you create this as well, make sure it's centered aligned. Then when you have it all, you can have these three objects grouped together. You can now duplicate it as you want. Otherwise, it won't fit in well the way it ought to. Once you have that done, you create text in this box. Just fill in. We size this up to 18. Then we size this down to 16. Just a consistent flow of even numbers, right? We brought in all these pictures or images that we used in this design. We fit them into the frame. Then we make a bit of adjustment to the color right here. We made a bit of adjustment to the color right here. We created a frame down here, which is a rectangle. Then we gave it a rounded corner as well, which was rounded corner of 16. We brought in all these other elements, which is pepper. This one is from the picture, right? Why this one is from the element. This one is also from the picture. Why this one is from the element. We brought in leaf from the element. We placed them here. We brought in leaf as well at the top here from the element. After that, we added our icons here. We gave them the text that fit in right for this. And that brought us to the end of this tutorial. You can see that our design is looking so awesome. I love this. You might be wondering that, okay, how about the spacing between this and this? The reason why we have enough space here is because of the length at which I narrowed this down and I spaced them out a little. Then this shape is a bit more bigger, you get. That was what brought about the concept around here. If you look at this, this does not have that much space. It's a bit closer to each other. I added a sand texture. If you want to add that sand texture, you can add it as well. Just search for sand texture. The moment you search for sand texture here, you should find it. I guess this one will not be bad. Let's bring in this kind of sand texture. I'll just increase the height and width. I will send it backward. To the back, I mean, just send it to the back. I'm going to reduce the opacity to 10. I love working with multiple of 5 when I'm working with opacity. With that, you have texture behind your background design. If you want the texture, you can work with it. If you don't want it, you can just delete it and leave it white. I would like to see the output or the outcome of your design. Please, once you are done with your design, send it to me or send it to the group. Let's have a quick review. Let's make it a perfect look and let's share to the world. Let them know that you are creating something awesome, you are doing something great with Inspirational Explorer. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.